Hi, my name is Pam Nelson, and this is Weekly Wake Up. In April, I was offering an awesome April and a playful challenge of including some sun salutations into your practice, whether daily, weekly, and I had included over the past month quite a few variations that you could try. So today will be another one of those variations. In this variation, instead of doing, say, 12 repetitions of the sun salutation sequence, you will hold each pose in the asana for that same number of breaths. And I'm using 12 as an example. I usually start with trying to do 12 and then see if I can add on to that. So it would be like you hold Tadasana for 12 breaths. Then you go to, say, Uttanasana, standing forward bend, and hold for 12 breaths. So each posture in the sequence is held for the same number of breaths. And again, it doesn't have to be 12. At the beginning, you might find 4 or 5 to be enough, especially maybe some of the more challenging poses. You might need to do some of the breaths, take a break, come back. So I thought we'd actually start with 6 breaths that we'd hold per pose in the sun salutation sequence to shorten the video and just so you can kind of get a glimpse of that idea. So we'll start at the front of the mat, at the top of the mat here in our mountain pose. Okay, so really feel openness to the bottoms of the feet, spreading through the heel, descending, not just the inner outer heel, but the back of the heel down. Bring the big and little toe mound to the floor and let the toes lengthen from the toe mounds. Feel stable, balanced from the feet, that base up. Tailbone moving down slightly. Front hip bones lift up. And then briefly roll the inner upper arms out so you get that clearing of that armpit. Turn the palms to face in. And as you feel the crown of the head lift up, descend the heels down. As the crown of the head lifts, also soften the jaw and throat. Let your gaze be soft but steady. And begin following your breath. Feel the brain relax and release. After the next exhalation, we can inhale, extend the arms up. Either keeping the arms parallel to each other, really wrapping that outer arm in, or maybe for some you can bring the palms together. Almost still wrapping outer arms in behind the ears, lifting up. So arms parallel, palms together, elbows straight. So if the palms are together, we're not just hanging here. Elbows bent and kind of hanging in the neck and shoulders. If you're not able to get the palms together, separate the hands. You can hold a block between the palms or just keep palms parallel. Outer arm wrapping in, lift the elbows up, lift from the wrists up. Elongate the spine. Feel the change in your breath in this posture from mountain pose. But continue to feel that stability, that centeredness from your mountain pose. From here, we'll exhale and bend forward into Uttanasana, which is standing forward bend. Hands, if you can, coming to the floor. If you need, they come to blocks or the chair. And for some of you working with hip or back issues, you might just come into a half forward bend, feet more hip width apart. So you might be more concave back. And you may even want to take your 6 breaths here, so you can do that also. In our half forward bend. Feel the skin, muscle of the upper back. Move with your breath through that length and firmness of the spine. The next exhalation then will come into Uttanasana. Again, hands can still be on blocks if needed. They can to the floor. Bend the knees slightly if you need. Try to straighten the legs by lifting the thigh muscle up off the knee, tucking that kneecap up. Press the palms into the floor block to really activate up to the shoulders and spread through the upper back, spread the collarbones. And then from here, we'll step back into Adho Mukha Dandasana, which is a plank pose. Release the shoulders from the ears. Lift the thighs up, firm the legs, lift the abdomen. Again, notice your breath. Lift the hips up and back as we press back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog pose. From downward dog, you can come to the floor or to Chaturanga Dandasana. You can hover. From here, we'll lower to the floor, untuck the toes, and for those that it's better for your back, you'll come up into a cobra, mini cobra, whatever's better for you, and a Bhujangasana. For those that are able, we'll come up into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog pose, either toes tucked under or untucked, tailbone moving under, move the shoulder bones back, lift those kneecaps, thigh bones up. From here, we can release back to the floor, or you could have come and lowered right into Chaturanga, to the forearm staff pose, and see if you could hold that again. We need lower down, and then we'll press back into our downward dog. Elongate to the sides. Front inner thigh moving back, outer hips moving in and up. We'll come back to a plank, Adho Mukha Dandasana. And then we'll step the feet back, either to your half forward bend or Uttanasana. Uttanasana, inhale, come up. Urdhva Hastasana, palms together if you can. Hands to the heart. Release the arms. And then we can release. That's just another option, kind of really slowing it down, really noticing how each posture maybe changes your breath, or how your breath changes with each posture. And you could repeat a sequence like that a few times. So thank you for joining me, and hope to see you next week.